What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Around the Bend Off-Road. Today we're hitting Yankee Hill Road at Central City, Colorado. OnX has this rated as a 5 on their app. We're rating it as like a 5, maybe a 5.5 in some spots. I would say that's a really solid 5. Don't let this beginning of the video fool you. This is a very well-maintained dirt road here, because it's really going to change when you hit the entrance to Forest Service Road 175.1, which is the entrance to Yankee Hill Road. When we hit that road, you'll know it. It turns very rocky, very fast. It's a little bit more technical, nothing too crazy. I still felt comfortable enough to take the family up there. Fantastic views at the top of Yankee Hill Road. So yeah, it's a really enjoyable drive. It's an up and back kind of trail. There's some other trails that do connect through there, but we'll talk about that when we get to the top. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. So right after this curve up here is ACA, Always Choose Adventures. I don't know much about them, to be completely honest, but what I do know through Facebook, through the Colorado Side by Side Facebook group, they just had their first annual Halloween trick-or-treating, clean up the area, side-by-side ride. I don't know what it was actually called, but I saw that this month of October, and they did a little spring cleanup and got to do some trick-or-treating. I believe people got to wear costumes while they rode and went up Yankee Hill Road. It was kind of like just a little event that they hosted. Of course, you put the sun on here. Pick it up in a goddamn 3500 Chevy. So through our time up here on Yankee Hill Road, there was quite a bit of traffic. It wasn't terribly overcrowded or anything, but when we do hit the entrance to 175.1, the Forest Service Road, which is quote-unquote Yankee Hill Road, you got to be a little careful because there's not very many places to let people over. It's kind of a one vehicle track, kinda. You can squeeze vehicles in there, but obviously the more room the better. It wasn't terribly overcrowded. The parking lot that is just west of Central City, it wasn't terribly packed. It actually got more packed the later in the day when we went to load up than when we actually got there. So right here, this is actually the entrance to Yankee Hill Road, which is 175.1. I highly recommend bringing a GPS or ride command or something like that, because you want to have that while you're up here. As you can see, the trail's starting to get pretty rocky, and again, this is just the entrance, so you'll see some of them bigger rocks the higher we go up. Here in just a moment, you'll actually see a couple, I believe it's a four-wheeler and a side-by-side coming down. I actually asked them, hey, is it super technical? Me and Jess and the kids, this is our first technical trail that we've ever done. We're not super experienced off-roaders. We just bought our Polaris General last year. We went up to the Vitavue area one time, and then winter hit. So this is our first spring and summer off-roading. Jesus, mine's super technical, or is it pretty decent?
Towards the top, it's a lot.
It's like this. Okay, not terrible. Okay, good. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. So right there, you heard me ask him, is it super technical? He's like, no, it's not bad. You know, he did tell me, I don't know if you heard the audio, but he's like, you just got to pick your lines, which I totally agree with now that I've actually ran the trail. It's not super bad, but like, as you can see here, as we're coming up, it narrowed up quite a bit. Now, the rule of thumb on off-roading is the people that are going uphill have the right-of-way. Those guys were actually going down, but I had enough room from where I was at. I was able to wave them through, so it was kind of up to me to dictate that a little bit. I had enough room, I got over, they were able to come through, and then I can go up. Now, if you're like on a shelf road or something like that, technically the people coming down would either need to back up or make sure that you have enough room to come uphill. Usually the people that are going uphill have the right of way. I got to be able to see the tire, and it's restricting me from seeing the tire. Just hang on, babe. We're okay. This is fun, ain't it? We're rock crawling in the Rocky Mountains. So I don't know if you caught the audio right there, but my daughter Magnolia, she gets a little bit nervous when the side-by-side tends to lean or tip one way, or, you know, again, nothing absolutely crazy, but she gets nervous. I mean, she's 4 years old, and I'm taking her up, you know, a semi-technical trail. This is probably nothing for most people, but for us, it's, you know, a whole new world for us. And she often complains if I can't get the iPad to work that we use for our GPS. She's afraid that we're going to get lost and things like that. She's just she's a cute little girl, a little bit of a worrywart, but I love her to death. Oh, fuck. Yes. I'm going to speed up this little section of the video real quick just to not make this video an hour long. Passed a Jeep right up here, then we passed 2 more Jeeps. Again, the traffic wasn't terrible, it was just, it was a weekend. So as you can see on the sides of the trail, those rocks are starting to get bigger in diameter. As soon as I get across this little curve here, you're going to see probably the most technical part of this entire trail. Now, this area that we're starting to enter is pretty wide. The far left side of your screen is going to be the more technical side. The right side, I would call it the bypass or the easier route, which obviously we took. You can start to see some of them boulders really starting to get bigger in diameter. Right here on the left side of your screen, right now you can see all those big rocks there, big boulders. Yeah, that's the more harder side. Now don't let the camera fool you, there's some whoop-de-woos right here, and then I have to basically jump over in between. I had to go over a rock, and then I had to go in between that boulder right there at the bottom of your screen and then that tree that was on the left, and it was pretty tight right there. Not hard to do. Again, this is the hardest part of the trail. That was the most sketchiest part of the trail, but it was very doable and I felt comfortable. Nothing where I felt like Jess and the kids had to get out of the side-by-side. I also forgot to mention that when we were in the whoop-de-woos there, before we went in between the boulder and the tree, we were up on 3 wheels at kind of any given moment. It was just the way that that line was taken. I could have slowed down and maybe centered myself a little bit better as far as attacking that technical part. But I mean, the side-by-side did fantastic. I tip my hat on that. You'll actually see some of the bigger boulders as we come down, and you'll get a better shot of that when we're making our descent. Service area in like 1500 is driving this. Yeah. It's not super technical up there, is it? I mean, it's probably about like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just got a big spot.
Yeah. Okay. Good enough. You guys have a good one.
You do the same.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem. For the record, if it ever gets into a position where we get too tight, you guys can get out. So pretty much what I meant was, if it gets too tight, aka if it gets too sketchy, you guys can hop out, is what I was telling my wife. I got no behind me. Yep. Okay. I got no one behind me.
Me either.
You're all right. I heard the top is mint. Like, the views are retarded. Maggie, I'm busy. I'm busy. Okay. Smooth going this way. Wonder how or why all these rocks are in here. Like, do you think these are just all natural, or do they do this for like flooding purposes, like erosion? Alrighty, welcome to the top of Yankee Hill Road. We are at 10,906 feet. In this area, just a little bit down from where I'm going to stop up here, and to the right is going to be the actual Yankee Hill. That is a total of 11,224 feet. We did not do that part of the hill because it's fairly steep and pretty rocky. It's more technical. I would say it's probably closer to like a 6 or a 7 on the scale for just that section. Right in front of us is supposed to be St. Mary's Glacier. Usually that has snow in it year round. Not sure why they call it that, but that's what that's called. We stopped up here and had lunch. Kids had a great time. The views were just absolutely stunning. Really enjoyed ourselves. Up here, there's a couple other Forest Service roads, along with a couple other named trails like Mosquito Creek and Kingslow Peak, according to Onyx. So here we're doing, it's another Forest Service road. It's the south end of kind of where we were at. I can't remember the name of this particular trail. It does loop in with another one, but we just did the southern end to start heading back towards the parking lot because it took us about an hour and a half to get up Yankee Hill Road, and I don't know how it's going to be coming down. It always seems steeper to me going down than it does going up. I'm not sure why. Maybe somebody more experienced can answer that question, but you'll hear me say later on, it seems steeper than what we actually climbed up. So you hear me say, when in doubt, throttle out. That's a pretty common saying in the side-by-side world, I guess. The camera doesn't do it enough justice. That actually had some whoop-de-woos in it. And then we had that big boulder, and it was just, I kind of had to gun it to get it out of there. This part of the trail that we're on, it got really condensed and really tight with trees, and it even gets a little bit tighter down the road as we go, but still very enjoyable. So we're now hopping off of this Forest Service road that connects back into Yankee Hill Road. So we're going to actually start heading down that. We're actually going to head back to that sketchy section that I told you about earlier in the video, and you'll get a pretty good look of those big boulders here in just a little bit. Now we're going down. Okay, so now we're back into the more technical, sketchier part of the trail here. So let me explain something real quick. You're going to see me back up a couple times because I got a little bit lost. So earlier in the video, and I didn't show it, we went down a different Forest Service road. Unfortunately, Maggie had to take a potty break real quick, and I paused my OnX tracking. Well, I didn't realize it until after I was through this section coming up Yankee Hill Road. So I don't remember what track we took coming up, but you'll see here in just a minute when I get to the really big boulders. I kept telling myself we didn't go through this section, but we had to have because we got up here. But I kept thinking in my mind, we didn't go through this, and then we eventually found a track. So the people that are going to give me some crap for backing out of that, remember, I've got two little kids, 4 and not even 2 yet. I'm not a super experienced 4x4, so I'm not afraid to admit it. My skill set, it wasn't quite ready for that particular part of the trail yet. I'm just trying to make it down safely. I know people are probably going to give me a little bit of crap for backing out of that, but it's about making it, not really breaking the side-by-side. Also, with that said, you're going to hear, even on other YouTube channels, that the cameras don't do it enough justice. Like, it looks like it's not that steep, but in reality, it's a lot steeper, and those are a lot bigger rocks than what the camera actually shows you.
Is there a dip here?
So after a few minutes of trying to figure out what line we actually took, Jess remembered that we were in between that tree and that big boulder. Thank God she remembered, because I totally forgot. But like I said, it's just about making it down safe, everybody's happy, and we're just going to continue on. Rock slider. So right here, we're finally getting out of the section of 175.1 Yankee Hill Road. We're finally to the entrance or exit, finally. In front of us is a couple extra Forest Service roads that are in the area that you can ride around on. We're not heading back to the parking lot yet, but we're going to stop, switch drivers, let Jessica drive for a little bit. She likes to be a little speed demon, so she's going to get to do that. So that's going to conclude our trip to Yankee Hill Road. I want to thank you guys for watching the video, and if you don't mind, hit that subscribe button, and we will catch you guys on the next one.